Welcome to this explainer of The Artist's Way. If you're feeling stuck right now, The Artist's Way is not just some how-to book about making art. No, The Artist's Way is a book about hearing yourself before your inner critic even gets a chance to speak. In this book, Julia Cameron makes a really blunt claim. The pain of being stuck, it's completely quiet. Julia Cameron shows us that it feels like this heavy room in your chest, where the work you keep not starting just sits. So let's dive into The Artist's Way right now and look at the real cost of waiting to feel ready.
It's fascinating how perfectly that captures the feeling, isn't it? Your unfinished idea sits in your ribs like a locked studio. Think about it. You keep paying rent on it. You walk past that door every single morning. And you probably call that locked door taste, or bad timing, or having really high standards. But here's the truth. That missing project isn't a lack of talent. Not at all. It's a room you've actively designed to stay locked. It's a room you're flat out refusing to enter. Act 1. The Locked Studio Problem. Look at this definition of creative recovery, returning to contact after fear-trained withdrawal. In the architectural framework of this book, practice absolutely must come before the pose. So what does this actually mean for us? It means a creative block isn't just a bad mood. It's a wound that learned manners. It's a deeply rooted fear that somehow learned to manage your calendar. Ultimately, it means your inner judgment got a key to your studio, and it went ahead and changed the locks on you. Act 2. Morning pages are drainage. To clear out that internal channel, we have to look at a super common trap. Do you need a clearer creative identity before starting? I wish this weren't true, but so many of us actually believe this. We tell ourselves, well, I need a better concept first, or I need the right season of my life, or I just need a clearer voice. We literally wait to feel whole before we allow ourselves to begin. Just pause for a second. Really feel the massive weight of demanding clarity to arrive before you've even made contact with the work. But here comes a massive reality slap from Julia Cameron. She says, waiting for direction trains the sensor to turn mood into veto power. Wow! That completely collapses the illusion, right? It brilliantly illustrates why waiting is just so incredibly dangerous. Waiting literally hands fear the absolute authority to keep that door firmly shut. It trains you to let your fleeting moods completely dictate your actions. So who exactly is this gatekeeper we're dealing with? It's the censor. It's that inner voice that sounds exactly like mature, adult judgment. You know the one. It survives by disguising itself as having refined taste, or being strategic, or protecting your personal brand. But don't be fooled. Its only real command is to paralyze you. It stands there and says, do not move an inch until you are absolutely perfect. To break that paralyzing command, we need some really strict physical parameters. 1. Write 3 pages. 2. Write them longhand. 3. Do it first thing in the morning. And 4. No polishing and absolutely no judging. These are your morning pages. Now let's be clear. They are not a diary. They're a necessary drain pipe for your mind's daily static. The goal here is to catch the very first mud of your mind before the day can claim it, and crucially, before that sensor even wakes up. This leaves us staring down 2 losing options. Wait for identity versus force a project. Door number 1 says you should wait until your voice feels perfectly clean. Door number 2 says you should just forcefully squeeze the output until it obeys. But here is the catch. Whether you delay endlessly for perfection or you force an unnatural outcome, they are exactly the same. Both of these options make fear the architect of your work. Neither one is actually listening to your true self. The pages create the path. Let that sink in for a moment. The path does not create the pages. Consistent contact creates direction. Your true self isn't something you discover before you start practicing. Your self is heard through the practice itself. You really don't need some grand overarching theory. You literally just need to show up. Act 3, Artist's Dates Feed Attention. Now, to replenish that starved mind of yours, you're going to need an artist date. What is that? It's a solo appointment. It's a cheap errand of wonder. There is zero deliverable required here, folks. It's purely input without demand. Go wander through a hardware store, or browse a toy aisle, or just walk in a field after it rains. A tired mind doesn't make free creative work. It just makes really efficient copies of your old fears. You absolutely have to feed your attention. So, must every input prove itself with output? I'm not sure where this leaves us, honestly, because we all have this terrible, overwhelming urge to optimize every single moment of our lives. But if every input has to prove its worth, wonder just becomes another employee. And if wonder is treated like an employee on the clock, it will never ever yield true inspiration. You simply cannot demand vibrant aliveness from an attention span that you keep starving.
Picture a scaffolded studio door, finally opening from the inside. You see, a scaffold doesn't insult the building it surrounds, right? It actually lets the building stand securely while the necessary repair work happens. True creative freedom begins as a structure that doesn't shame your wounds. It's a reliable structure that keeps you safe while you do the hard work.
Act 4. The Shadow Artist Cost. There's a really tragic hidden cost to avoiding this daily architecture, and that is becoming a shadow artist, a life built near art while avoiding one's own. It's a heartbreaking reality. It's someone who spends years just warming their hands by other people's fires, simply because proximity feels so much safer than ownership. You might build great taste near the work, or you might advise others near the work, but no one ever gets to see the fire that only you could burn. Which leads us to another tricky paradox. Protect art from routine versus submit it to metrics. If you overprotect it, it never actually meets real time. But if you measure it to death, it completely loses its breath. In both of these cases, you're treating your creativity as if it's something way too fragile for honest daily contact. Your standards are not high. They are scared. What if your perfectionism is really just fear trying to avoid crossing the threshold? The child inside you desperately wants protection, and the adult in you wants measurable proof. But the artist just needs a meeting place. Act 5. Create before certainty. This brings us all the way down to the single, physical choice facing you today. The Artist's Way is not permission, it is a doorway with a hinge. This book completely refuses to buy into the whole glamour of the blocked genius. Instead, it offers you the sober, grounded hope of a pen, a weekly date, and a very simple morning boundary. It takes creativity and makes the act physical again. Continue the internal transformation at upgowise.com. This is where we bridge the theory from this explainer into real-world structural support. The practice absolutely must become tangible. Create before certainty. This is the core synthesis of everything we've talked about. Direction is not something that is magically granted to you. It is only heard after you've made enough honest contact with yourself. You have to stop making your inspiration defend itself in court. The door remembers the hands that return to it. Write 3 longhand morning pages before touching your phone. Before tomorrow morning, you need to write 3 full pages before that phone even touches your hand. This is the immediate action. You must do this. If not, you've chosen this. Will you protect the channel? Set a 5-minute timer right now. List 10 cheap artist dates, pick one and put it on your calendar. Without it, your signature fades. So I leave you with this. Will your routine be a cage or will it be a door?